Hi, I'm Brian Decker. Been fortunate enough to be one of the top loan officers in the country, and so I have a lot of people that come to me and have been asking me questions or have been rebuttaling and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to wait for prices to drop because I think if prices drop 5% over the next year, it'll allow the home I want to be a lot more affordable. Isn't that true, Brian? And to be honest, it's not. And so, for two reasons. One, people forget to take into consideration the rise in interest rates, which, to give you an idea, interest rates are now up about 1% from where they were in November of 2017. And they are going to continue to rise as the Fed continues to put upward pressure on interest rates and we see a thriving economy. Secondly, when people think of a price drop of 20 grand, what they forget about is 20 grand on a mortgage loan isn't a lot of money, and it doesn't make a big difference on that monthly payment. So what you're seeing on your screen now is I put together a really helpful chart, and I'm just going to walk it through you quickly. So what you're going to see here is a current purchase price of a home of $425,000 today. Somebody putting 10% down, getting a loan amount for about $382,000, giving you roughly market interest rate of about 5%, factoring in mortgage insurance, the whole 9 yards. It's going to give you a total principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payment somewhere around $2,700. Now, what you're going to see is 6 months down the road, let's assume a couple things. That even though we're in a very strong economy, let's say prices drop 25 grand on that house in 6 months. So big, sizable price drop. What's going to happen? Well, 6 months from now, we're very likely going to see about a 0.5% rise in interest rates. It's what we've seen over the last 6 months, and it's what we saw the 6 months prior to that. So you can see that even though the price of that home dropped a total of $15,000, interest rates went up 0.5%, going to give you an overall monthly payment because of that rise in interest rates, even though the house is cheaper, $27.58 a month. Well, technically, that's $13 a month more than if you would have bought it 6 months prior, even though you paid less for that home. Now, let's go out a year. You're going to see the same thing. Let's say house prices drop almost 6%. So that price is going to go from $425 down to $400. Rise in interest rates a year from now, we're not even going to say it's going to be 1%. We're going to do 0.75%, which is what the MBA forecasts, the Mortgage Bankers Association, for November of next year, of 2019. You're going to see that monthly payment, assuming a worst case scenario, which dropping 6% is far greater than anything supposed to be planned on happening by either CoreLogic or MBS Highway for our particular area. And let's just exaggerate. Let's say it's almost a 6% drop. You're going to see that the monthly payment saves you $2. So even though the price of that house dropped $25,000, you saved $2 a month. And you go out, you can do the same thing for year two. We see almost a 10% drop. What happens if that house 2 years from now drops 10%? I mean, we're seeing almost at this point, we're seeing about a $40,000 drop. That monthly payment is only going to drop, best case scenario, about 50 to 60 bucks a month. And now you've just been renting for another 2 years. Or if you haven't sold your home yet, now you're going to sell your home and you're netting less from your profits. So you can see this chart and it kind of breaks everything down for you. And you can also, too, one of the things I really like to focus in on here is what you'll be seeing on your screen here is the U.S. economic outlook. And here's what it is. And these are all the last 6 recessions we've had. And all this is monitored by 7 different factors that affect our economy. Okay. So we got our yield curve, which is the steepening of the yield curve, how short-term rates compare to long-term rates. You got inflation, how much goods are going up per year relative to the dollar. You got job creation. You got credit. Are banks lending? Are they not lending? You got your ISM manufacturing, how well manufacturing goods are doing in the actual manufacturing sector. You got earnings quality. Then lastly, you got the housing market. And you'll see on every one of these recessions that you've seen, there's been at least a minimum of 5 indicators that have been putting in a recessionary trend. Now we look at present day. Is our yield curve steepening? Yes, it is. Opposite of what they expect. Inflation, stagnant. Not what we expect. Job creation, super strong. Only one other recession has ever seen it that way. Credit performance. Banks are actually really opening up their lending power, something we've never seen in any other lead up to a recession. Manufacturing, strong. Never seen it compared to any other recession entering. Earnings quality, strong. People are earning more money year over year, and companies are coming out and reporting higher earnings this year than last year. Lastly, the housing market. Housing market has a still strong buyer demand. We have not switched from either typically what it's been is a seller's market moving into more of a neutral market now. We're not in a period of market and time where we're seeing extremely long periods of absorptions in most markets. We're still seeing an appetite for buying a home, and we're still seeing builders build. The biggest problem is affordable homes at that sub $400,000 price point. So as you can see here, when you are looking and weighing in the cost of whether it's a good time to buy or sell, you need to take into consideration real financial facts and not just make assumptions about certain things on price decreases. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. You can check me out at themortgageguy.com. Take care.